tonight. So what's your favorite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it over? Where did all go? Why do we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Bowie, Daniel O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.
So, hello again. Welcome. It's the Quick Question Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel O'Brien, and we've got a remote record. Soren Bowie, my co-host, is joining us on location from the Riyadh Comedy Festival. Soren, what's it like on the ground out there?
I'd rather not talk about it. Things are going pretty bad here. It's not great. There's a lot of things you're not allowed to say, it turns out. And so we're pretty, a few of us have disappeared and things aren't going so hot.
Okay. But the money, I am told the money is very good.
Excellent. It's excellent. It makes it all worth it in the end. Thanks to Shopify for supporting Quick Question. Shopify is a platform designed for anyone to sell anywhere, giving entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/QQ.
Have you been following any of this Riyadh Comedy Festival stuff?
Comedy? Yeah, I have. I've been following the blowback before it even started. I don't even know if it's happened yet. Is it done?
It seems like that's a really good point. I also don't know. It seems like I know that some people have performed, but I don't know how long the festival is.
Okay, so it's going on right now. We're in
the story about it has been going on for what feels like a full solid month.
I don't know if there's new details to the story other than why the fuck are all these people doing this? Why are they all going? And everyone's saying, for the money. And you're like, oh, okay.
We're getting some people like Bill Burr has done it, and he's making the rounds now for his response to the backlash, which has not been great. For everyone who's completely unfamiliar with this very specific comedy thing, is Saudi Arabia, which is it's hard to paint with a broad brush when you're talking about a whole other country, but they're the bad guys. They're the 9/11 guys. They're the let's disappear journalists, and not even like
cutting up journalists.
Yeah, just like doing bad guy shit from the movies about bad guys. They're doing it out in the open. It's a very corrupt royal family. Bad for women, bad for gay people, bad for journalists, bad for free speech. They have lots of money, and they wanted to do the comedy festival.
Bad for towers.
Terrible for towers. They wanted to do this festival in Riyadh and make the biggest comedy festival in the world. It seems like a way to launder their image, because they just got some of the funniest people in the world to come to this comedy festival and bring comedy to the people of Saudi Arabia. Dave Chappelle is there. Bill Burr is there. Pete Davidson is there. There's a lot of big names. There's a lot of conspicuous big names that are not there. Shane Gillis, who's huge right now, is not there. And Mark Maron, who's huge. Like, these are people who very clearly would have gotten this. Would have gotten this invite and turned it down. And it just became this whole story about it. Like, there's the Mark Marons of the world who are coming out and saying, like, yeah, I got this offer and it's a lot of money, but like, it's Saudi Arabia. It's the 9/11 people. So I just personally couldn't do it. And there are other comedians like David Cross who were like, I couldn't do it. And also I feel very let down by the comedians who did do it, because these are the 9/11 guys. And also, you must know that you're there to launder the reputation of this royal family. You know, you're gonna go there and you're gonna tell a bunch of jokes, and then you're gonna come back to America and you're gonna say it was great. You're gonna say the people are just like us and they all just wanted to laugh and it was really fun, and I didn't feel like I was restricted in my speech or anything, because that's the narrative that the royal family in Saudi Arabia wants you to spread out to the world, so the rest of us forget about the 9/11 of it all.
Yeah. I mean, Yes, I think that's true. I think the Khashoggi thing is that's the first thing that jumps to my brain, is that this is a current, because 9/11 happened. Oh, who remembers how long ago? Nobody possibly could. But the Khashoggi thing was so recent, and it's like this regime, we're currently living with, those are the same guys. The guys that are talking to you on the phone, inviting you, are the ones who used a bone saw to turn him into little tiny pieces.
Yes.
Because he was a journalist they didn't like. And that's horrifying. And that's not like a thing, I don't know how you could look past. But I also didn't get invited. So it's very easy for me on this side to be morally righteous about it, because no one wants me there. Yeah. But it is pretty diabolical. It's brutal, man.
Bill Burr. Nope. Yeah, Bill Burr, not Bill Barr. Two good buddies that I get confused a lot. Bill Burr, whose takes I generally like. I think he's like a really progressive and thoughtful guy who is also like edgy and human about a lot of things. He went on Conan's podcast, and his reaction to the backlash is, I think he's doing a little straw man stuff where he's talking about how, like, you know, these people who wear t-shirts that are made in sweatshops are coming after me for going to the sweatshop and doing a joke, and I'm just trying to make people laugh. And it's like, that's a little straw man-y. It's it's you're riding the line of like, there's no ethical consumption in capitalism, there's blood everywhere, so like, what are you going to do? And treating the thing that seems unfair about how he represents himself is treating what he's doing as just bringing comedy. I think is half the story. I think, as we've said, the other half of the story is like the reputational comedy washing that's being done by having this festival here. You're not just making a bunch of people laugh. You're also changing the global image of this monstrous family, because that's what they want you to do, because that's what they're paying you to do. But I don't, for some reason, it would be more refreshing, I think, if he had said, truly, like you said in the beginning, Soren, oh, they paid me a lot of money, and so that's why I did it. And I'm going to give some of my money to this charity, and like, I don't feel great about it, but our friend Jason, amidst all this backlash, Jason Pargin pointed out something on Blue Sky that skeeting a screenshot of the headline, U.S. comedians defend decision to play Saudi Arabia. They're paying me enough to look the other way. Jason says, in general, your favorite entertainers care way more about money than you think. Yes, including the leftist environmentalists, punk rockers, and raging anti-capitalists. There's a reason movie stars do TV ads and launch gin brands. They are, above all else, hyper-efficient money-making machines. Everyone claims they already know this, but I'm watching fans be shocked at how ravenously comedians will lunge at the chance to go from 100 million to 103 million as if their lives depend on it. You don't get the 100 without that mindset. Talent alone doesn't do it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, I think that's straw man too. None of these comedians have 100 million. Well, actually, some of them might have $100 million, but that's it. I don't know that all of them are that wealthy. Also, it is still like, yeah, you're getting like $3 million to anybody. That's enough money that you are like, oh shit, that changes things for me in some way. And so I kind of understand that. I understand also, I'm going to, by the end of this, I'm going to not agree with the Saudis and what's going on, but let me just say these things up front. This is not the first time this type of thing has happened. Like, I think that celebrities get invited over there all the time, and celebrities get invited over there at the behest of royalty, and it's either to hang out, it's to perform in some way, but they're getting invited for a large amount of money to just come there.
Yeah.
And spend time there. And I think a lot of celebrities do that quietly. Like, they have been doing it for a long time. And there's like rumors even that sometimes it's prostitution, because they are so much money. Like, they can offer you whatever amount you think is like absorbent and too much, they can offer you 10 times that. Like, they are going to give you any amount of money you want. Any amount of money you want to do whatever it is that they want.
Yeah.
And I think that so obviously I don't know if this is true, but there's like rumors of prostitution, like celebrities maybe not like A-list celebrities, but celebrities will go over there, and there's a good chance that for $20 million, like you might have to sleep with a Saudi prince.
Yeah.
And these things have been going on for a while. This is like the most, this is more duplicitous for two reasons. One, I think that it's way more out there in the open. It's like there are posters for it. There's ads for it and stuff like that. So they're celebrating the fact that these celebrities are coming, which was before I think it was much quieter. And then also it's designed to be for the people, like the people of Saudi Arabia. And that's not who's seeing. It's not, you're getting the friends of the regime who are there. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it is, the attempt is at whitewashing. The attempt is like, hey, Saudi Arabia's not so bad. Look, they love my blue collar jokes just like everybody else. Look at Dave Chappelle. He's killing with jokes about how awful free speech is in the United States.
Yeah. The other thing, I think to your point, even sidestepping the high-end prostitution stuff, which I haven't actually heard about, I do feel like the idea of comedians doing incredibly lucrative small corporate gigs very quietly, that's been going on forever. Like, your favorite leftist comedian has in all likelihood performed at Elon Musk's birthday party or Mark Zuckerberg's birthday party. Like, all of the names that are, all of the people who are like condemning the comedians at the Riyadh Festival, most of them have probably done these corporate gigs for a CEO that certainly has destroyed lives or the environment. You know, I'm not saying David Cross has like performed 10 minutes for the Sackler family or something like that, but all these comedians have been doing corporate gigs for bad actors for a lot of money quietly for a very long time. I'm sure they feel some kind of way about it, but I'm sure if you're Bill Burr and there's suddenly backlash for the Riyadh Festival, he's just like, what the fuck? You saying you put on a Marilyn Monroe dress and sang for Mark Cuban. Why is this suddenly bad? We've all been doing shit like this forever.
Hey, here's an interesting thing people might not know about the business of writing for television. Generally, you write for yourself. You are your own business. You are a business of one, and then they loan you out to a studio. It's strange, but it means that a lot of writers own their own small business. And as a small business owner, I had no idea what I was doing. It was really, really complicated and hard. And it took me a long time of figuring out the ins and outs of how a small business should work. Now, you don't have to go through all of that alone. If you have your own small business, Shopify is there for you. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel, Gymshark, to brands just getting started that you haven't heard of yet, but you will. Probably. So accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or happen to be strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. So get started with your own design studio. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. If you're ready to sell, you're ready to Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/QQ. Go to shopify.com/QQ. Shopify.com/QQ. I'm looking through all the articles just to substantiate what I had said earlier. Obviously,
you Googled prostitution.
But I'm finding some interesting things here, Dan. Some interesting stuff I didn't know or have not seen. The most popular headlines are Kim Kardashian offered $1 million to spend a night with a Saudi prince. This is a little disturbing. Kanye West offered $10 million by a Saudi prince to sleep with Kim Kardashian. So they might have been back channeling and offering more money to Kanye West.
That's rough. That's real bad stuff.
But it does. I'm not going to say it does happen, but it is a thing that there's a lot of rumors about this happening that all sort of correlate with one another. It's not great. It's not a great situation. It's a kind of a bummer that they're there, but I've never been in the situation where I have been offered the same thing. If somebody was like, even if somebody offered me $1 million and they're like, you just got to go there for a day and you got to tell some jokes, I would be like, and I didn't know that there were going to be posters and everything like that. I would be like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Because it's not coming from MBS or anything like that. It's coming from your agents and a bunch of people through the channel who are like, there's this place, Riyadh. Do you know where Riyadh is? Absolutely not. Okay, well, they've never had a comedy festival before, and they're so excited to see some American comedy. And this will be the first one and like the biggest. They're going to do it at a soccer stadium. Isn't that exciting? It's like, hell yeah. Do I get to ride on a plane to Riyadh?
Yeah.
You have to, in fact.
Yeah. In fact, you're going to sit in a private plane and you're like, amazing. And also you're going to, I'm sure that there are a lot of comedians who got on board because they're like, and guess who? Yeah, like Bill Burr's doing it. Or like these other comedians that are they going to be there? And you'd be like, fuck, and they want me? That's so exciting. Yeah. You would, at no point are you like, well, what is their ethical stance on journalism and stuff like that?
And like there is going to be like a do not discuss list for their sets. But when you're getting a bunch of these like headlining American comedians and they're like, you just have to promise you're not going to do any jokes about the Saudi royal family. And they're like, don't fucking worry. I'm going to do jokes about bathrooms. Leave me alone.
Yeah. You will not find that anywhere in my set. It is. And then I don't know like what sort of power you have at that point to back out either. Like once you have agreed to do this, that you're on the poster, and everyone's like complaining around you and you're starting to realize, oh shit, I'm involved in something that's pretty diabolical. I wonder if you can be like, actually, I don't want to do it. Or if now you're a target.
There have been comedians who donated all of their money to charity after the festival. Jessica Kirson. Oh, I said there were comedians. There was one. Jessica Kirson apologized and donated her entire fee to charity.
Jesus, man.
I thought there'd be more. I call a shot that there'd be a lot more.
Yeah, some of the comedians, most of them probably. Yeah. Man, that's rough.
Certainly after one person did it and everyone was like, good, we like her for that. Surely Aziz Ansari would have been like, I have a movie coming out. I could really use some good publicity. I will also donate my money. Now that I know we like that.
Now that I know that this has blemished my reputation, I wonder if I could buy it back.
You know what I've learned in this discussion, Soren, that we had no business ever having is you put a lot of emphasis on comedians being on posters. Yeah. Are you seeing a lot of posters?
It's the only way I know about comedy shows, man.
Are you moving into a college right now?
What I do is I get up in the morning, I travel down to the bus bench, and I see what's going on in the little shelter there. I see what's coming up, what movies there's going to be, what comedy shows. Yeah. I go past a building that's got a lot of construction going on. Whatever bills are posted on the outside, that's how I'm getting my information, the comings and goings of shows.
And the people of the Riyadh Comedy Festival, they're trying to lure you from the bus bench. They're thinking you're going to see that poster and be like, Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr? Ooh.
The only reason I know of the poster, and the reason I keep using that as my example, is because the only thing I've been aware of is the backlash. I didn't ever see like an initial, like, hey, we're doing this show. I've only seen people be like, hey, this show fucking sucks. It's crazy that people are doing this. And the only way that they can, like, the only good way to give that information out online is be like, here's the poster for it. Now you get the idea of what it is. Now we can talk about why it's bad. And so the poster is the only thing I've seen.
Yeah.
We did used to make posters for crack shows. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we did. We used to make them, and for a while, I would make them. I was our designer until we hired a designer.
There was, I don't know if you remember.
5 years into the company.
But I don't know if you remember, but you would make them. And if we were going somewhere, I would take whatever you made, and because I also had Photoshop, I would change it. I would change it before I put it up, and I would make my picture bigger so that it overlapped everybody else's and sometimes obscured their faces entirely. I made my name much bigger, and underneath all of your names, I pulled those off and put "and friends." I put Soren Bowie and friends.
That's really good stuff. All of us making posters to put on Tumblr to get people.
And you know what? The 15 people who saw it, I think at least 5 of them liked it.
Yeah. I mean, crack.com in its time was a successful venture, but could you imagine if they'd hired one person who had any skill other than comedy writing? Just like a marketer or a promoter or a designer, just a single person who had a second skill that they could help boost and elevate the company. Just imagine the heights.
Well, okay. To be fair to Cracked, we did have some of those people, and we fought with them constantly. There was like a revolving door of them because we didn't get along with any of them, and they didn't understand the sensibilities. So they would come to us with branded content ideas and be like, "This would make you a bunch of money if you were willing to do this, and just say that this P&G product is good." And I make a whole article about how shampoo's rad. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me? We built this brand from the beat. We got every single one of our followers one by one, and we're not going to do this. And so we would fight off everything. Everything that they try and do, we would fight.
I also remember after the site had been established and successful, then we would bring in like a branding or marketing team that was supposed to help us to get to the next level. And they had like a blue sky just riffing meeting with us where they were like, now crack.com, what would you say your brand is? It's a question that like now I recognize as a very standard question you would ask in a branding meeting to get all the people who build something together. But at the time when some weird suit was asking what our brand is, I was like throwing my pencil up in the air like, this fuck didn't do his research, sounds like it.
Do your homework. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. As an adult now, I understand why they would ask those questions and why that was important that they got an understanding from us what we think our brand is and like what we're aiming toward. Because the other thing is like what they're also looking for is like a consolidated way of saying it.
Yeah.
So that when they have to pitch that out to people, you're talking to a bunch of people who aren't comedians on the other side too, who are like selling these products and want to use your site in which to sell their products. And so you have to be like, here's what the site is. And they have to be like, oh, okay. Oh, and people like that. And so it's just like a bunch, it's all the way down. It's these people.
Yeah.
It's people who are, it's soup fillers who are just like, I'm so mean. I'm so cruel. This is real human beings that have jobs, and some of them are really funny. but like people who are just not writers, they're not comedians, and there's
nothing wrong with that.
And their whole
and I know that now.
Well, hold on. Their whole job is trying to understand the space, which is like, and I don't know which is worse. I don't know if that's worse or the people who are huge fans of comedy and working in that vein, because then they want to like play. They want to have their hand in the pie. They want to offer some jokes and stuff. And they don't understand how precious and our egos are about that kind of thing. And it's like, I would not take a suggestion from you if my life depended on it.
Yeah. Soren, let's do it right now. Let's do a brand meeting right now for Quick Question, the podcast. Soren,
okay.
I'll start with you.
Yeah.
What is the podcast?
Oh, the podcast. Well, first of all, it's a visionary brainchild of these two comedians. Both of them started on the internet. They worked their way up in the American dream. They both now working on opposite coasts on American broadcast television. And actually, you're not on broadcast, are you?
No.
They're both on television. They're both television writers. All right. One of them, huge Emmy winner.
Nobody huger.
The other one, plugging away. And they're best friends. They came up together, and now they just get together every once in a while, and they just talk. And they talk about the things that we're all dealing with all the time, and they ask questions of one another. Like, Let me think of a single one.
Man.
What's a movie that you like?
Holy cow.
Like Friends do.
Yeah.
You know what? It is really hard to pitch our podcast. It's hard to, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying, it was hard to pitch. It's hard to do. Before this podcast, we were talking about writing pilots, and Daniel was talking about the pilot for Cheers and how on its surface, ostensibly, the pilot is a woman walks into a bar. She decide she doesn't want to get married and decides she's going to work at that bar. But there's like, there's a charm there that you're not going to find from just reading a breakdown of it. You don't dissect the bird to find the song, you know?
Yeah.
Like the beauty of it is not in that. You have to understand it, read it. I would say, not that I'm comparing us to Cheers, listening to a single episode, you're like, oh, it's the chemistry. It's the two guys talking to each other that I really enjoy.
Yes. So that's your answer?
Yeah, you don't break apart the piano to look for the notes inside.
Yeah. Is that a Soren original? You don't dissect the bird to look for the
Find
song?
No.
Oh.
Don't dissect the bird to find the song. I think it's from a song, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I was ready to credit that to you because you drop pearls like that often.
Thanks, man.
There was I went to go see, speaking of lyrics from a song, I went to go see Mountain Goats recently, the band The Mountain Goats.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I like them a whole lot. They played a bunch of songs. I feel like I know more Mountain Goats songs than the average person. And they played almost exclusively songs I didn't know. I couldn't believe it. And you also learned that a lot of Mountain Goats songs sound kind of the same. And I'm still... I was there with friends who didn't know any Mountain Goat songs, and it became a game of them looking to me like, is this one that you know? And I would listen to a couple bars and be like, no, it's very close. It's very close to dance music, but it's not dance music. So we gotta just hope for the next song is going to be one that I know that I can. And then when I know it, I'm going to sing along. But they played, out of a set of maybe 14 songs, they played 2 that I knew. Whoa. And they closed with, can you guess what they closed with, Soren?
Yeah. This year.
Yeah, of course they did. That is, if you're a fan of Mountain Goats, you know that song. If you're not a fan of Mountain Goats, you might know that song because it was like an anthem, I think maybe in the first Trump administration, whether it came out then or just like made the rounds over and over again. But it's just like a peppy, jumpy tune, and the chorus is, I'm going to make it through this year if it kills me. And it's a very fun thing to hop and sing along to when you know it's going to be a kind of bad year. So the band had to play that song. There was no question about it. And they do their whole set, and they don't even intro that song by name. The singer just goes, okay, the vampire's on your neck. You know what comes next. And then they jumped into that song, and I sat there smiling, and like, I know he's a songwriter and he's written a lot of great lines, but I just thought he didn't fucking write that. And he didn't. It was Katie Lang.
Oh, wow. Whatever happened to her? Well, okay. So the vampire's on your neck.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I would like to have that. Put that in the arsenal. So you know the song No Children, right?
Maybe.
Ooh. Okay. Well, you should go listen to that one. It is, so his song, The Mountain Goats, if you're not familiar with them, some pretty dark lyrics. They've got a whole song called Heretic Pride, a whole album called Heretic Pride that is wonderful and like really cohesive as an entire album, but follows what it feels like essentially an apocalypse. And there's some brutal stuff that happens in it. And like it's pretty dark, but they have a song called No Children that is like the darkest song I've ever heard. It's so rough. It's about people going through a divorce and absolutely hating each other and like wishing each other would die and wishing themselves would die. Like, and it's tough, but it's really good. Really good song. Just checking to see if you heard it.
Nah, And in fact, I didn't even hear it now because I was looking up who said that thing about vampires.
Yeah.
It wasn't Katie Lang.
Was it? It was 10,000 Mania, Natalie Merchant.
It was KT Tunstall.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a reasonable mistake.
Yeah. Okay. I like that you just said KT to establish that, this is why I was close. Because KD, which while they are initials, sound a lot like Katie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on being close, Dan.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Daniel, I have a quick question for you.
Shoot.
What? Okay. When you go to, I'm trying to think of like the best way to ask this question. What I want to know about your dirty dish etiquette, because I think everybody has different dirty dish etiquette. Because when you go stay with somebody else, like you stay in an Airbnb with your family, or you go to somebody else's house, I find myself completely bewildered by their crazy rules or like lack of rules. There's never anybody, it's very hard to thread the needle and have somebody be in the exact same boat I'm in. So I'll be like more specific about these, but like, how long do you think dirty dishes can stay in a sink, let's say?
Oh, that's how it starts?
I want to start there because the other stuff is much more minute and I think maybe not true to everyone. But yeah, I want to know, like, how long can dishes stay in the sink for you?
This is, our audience loves to diagnose the two of us after our
You're trying to be careful what you say.
After our incredibly private conversations leak somehow. They love to be like, oh, I had no idea Soren had OCD. But now that I know how he orients his phone. So I'm sure more diagnoses will follow, but Soren, those dishes don't stay in the sink a fucking minute.
Yeah.
They're in right now. There are 2 dishes in the sink right now, and the only reason I know that is because I microwaved a burrito right before this podcast, and it requires 2 plates to microwave. And,
one on top, one on the bottom?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I was already late to the record, and I put them in the sink, and I shouted to wife that I will take care of this. And
that's letting her know.
That's not coming from her. This is 100% coming from me, that like, I don't walk out of the kitchen if there's a dish in the sink, because, and sometimes it bugs her because like it's one of her dishes and she doesn't want to feel like I'm cleaning up after her all the time.
Okay.
But I want her to know that like, I don't think I'm cleaning up after her or anyone. I think I'm just removing the dishes that show up in the sink, and I feel good about doing that. They do not linger. I do not have dishes in the sink, and it's driving me a little bonkers that there are 2 in the sink right now that I can't get to until the podcast is done. So if you doctors in the comments think you can do anything with that, good luck.
Yeah. If you want to take a peek into this twisted mind. Okay. So I guess my other question is does your dish etiquette correlate with your significant others, and did one of you have to bend more than the other?
No, they don't correlate, and no one had to bend. Okay. She is more comfortable leaving things in the sink a little bit, and because she can mentally let them sit there and do her other business. She can like. For me, the act of having lunch includes handling the dishes. For her, it's more of like, I finished lunch and now it's back to work, and I will get to the dishes later when such time arises as I clean the kitchen. But for me, it's all cooking and eating and cleaning. It's all part of the same process, and like I can't move on until it's done. And it has certainly led to 0 fights. There's like truly
incredible.
The closest it gets is me taking a dirty plate from our coffee table and her just being like, I was gonna get it, and I was like, but now, darling, you don't have to, because I'm getting it. And I love getting it.
And then just to get more intricate here, how are you about, like, let's say I made some toast and I'm going to put some butter and jam on that toast, and now there's a knife that has butter and jam on it, and I just rest it at the edge of the sink so that over the lip is the dirty part of the knife, but the rest of it sits back over on top of the counter. What is that a thing that happens at your house or no?
That will happen at my house because the handle part isn't dirty.
Right? And why is it there? Do you have like a reason why you'd keep it instead of just throwing it in the sink?
I don't want to dirty the sink.
Okay, that's weird. not the answer I was expecting.
I was kidding.
That's not weird. It's not weird. You don't want to. You got to wash the sink after you're done with dishes. That's just what you do. I'm gonna go through my dish etiquette here because that's why I'm leading here. Is that I used to be different. I used to be somebody who could leave dishes in a sink for an entire day, sometimes into the next morning, and then be like, all right, well, I really got to tackle these. This is a new job that is separate from the eating and the cooking that I will tackle at some other point. That's not who I am anymore. My wife has shown me a better way. My wife was somebody who was like, just like you, where she was like, it's got to be done now. Just get it out of the way. And it's just part of the whole meal process. And I was like, realizing the error of my ways, I was like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. This is much better. To the point now where it drives me crazy if somebody leaves dishes in the sink. The only time that we have dishes in our sink is if the dishwasher's running and we've used other dishes, and I won't. And sometimes I'll see them in there and I'm like, oh, just fucking wash those by hand. Let's crank it out. This can't sit there. Now, as far as a knife or something on the edge of the sink, sometimes even a spoon will sit there. We have an agreement that that's allowed because throughout the rest of the day, we might be using that again.
I understand.
There's so many times where you're going to have to I'm not going to dirty 4 knives throughout the day because I made toast in the morning and a sandwich in the afternoon. And then for a snack, I needed something else that was spreadable. That knife is going to be used a lot. I use it if I see a knife on the edges when I have my tea and I mixed in my honey and my milk and everything. And I'm like, I need to mix this. And there's a knife there. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
That's the one. I don't care what was on it.
So handy.
Diggle, 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 diggle. And so we will leave a dirty dish occasionally out there. And sometimes a cutting board will also stay out that has crumbs on it, which tough to look at. I'll admit, tough to walk into a kitchen and be like, oh, there's a lot of crumbs here. Mm-hmm. I see crumbs, but I'll leave that out because we're going to be doing maybe some cutting throughout the rest of the day.
Have you ever,
that's the only way.
This is a real, I think this is a mental question and not a hygiene question. Would you make your toast, you make your toast, you get your jam on your toast, you take that knife, idly, you put it in the dishwasher in the little basket that's just for silverware.
Yeah.
An hour passes, you decide to make some more toast. Have you ever opened the dishwasher and taken that knife out and used it again?
Yeah. If it's in its own chamber, and it hasn't touched any of the other silverware, I will do that. If it is touching the other silverware, I refuse.
I did it last night, and it's so wild that we're talking about this. I did it last night, and I regretted it. And that's why I say it's a mental thing, because the principle should be the same. It's not touching anything truly disgusting, but it's from the dishwasher where the dirty things are. It's not from the sink.
It's sad in there with the dirty things.
With all the air that I've cleaned. But last night, we went to go see a Broadway show last night, and we got home on the train pretty late and got back to the house, and we were both just starving because we didn't eat dinner. And we're just having snacks, and I was having some chips. And I recently got, they were salt and apple cider vinegar chips, very specifically. It's quite a brag.
New York is a different world.
The chips we got at a ShopRite, and they were home. We're home when we're eating our snacks, Soren.
Your apple cider chips. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking weird seasonal chips. Go on.
Salt and apple cider vinegar chips. And then I wanted something sweet. And we got this vegan chocolate chip cookie dough that you can eat raw or baked. I don't know what kind of science is in that box of goop, but I thought this is going to be a perfect sweet treat. Let me have one spoonful of this. And I ate it, and I put the lid on the thing, and then I put the spoon in the dishwasher, and then I thought, nope, that's not going to do it. It's going to be more. And so I took the spoon out of the dishwasher, and it had been in there for seconds.
Yeah.
And I took it out so I could have seconds, and it was so much worse in a way that I have to know could only be mental, because it's not a bunch of germ bugs that got on the spoon while I was sitting in the dishwasher, and I didn't like put it in a puddle in the dishwasher. It's in its cage where it likes to be, but it's still, my brain was like, we don't take things out of the dishwasher and use them. This is against the rules. And my brain sent that message to my taste buds, and it fucking worked. I didn't enjoy the second bite as much as the first bite.
What, and you like, the spoon is a little bit colder since it left your hand. It's a little more foreign. The stuff that's caked on there on the bottom of it that your tongue didn't quite get all of, like, that stuff is like, no, there's something wrong here. It's not what was just in my mouth. This is something, it's been somewhere else since.
My spoon is my son that I sent off to college. And then when I take it out of the dishwasher, it's got a soul patch. And I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah, it's just different. It's different in a worse direction. And I can't explain why, but just know it's not mine anymore. The one that I made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that feeling. I have a really hard, I don't think, like an ice cream or something like that, if I'm eating ice cream and I put the spoon in, I would not take the spoon out and put that whole thing back in my mouth. The only way that I would take something out of the dishwasher is like a knife, or like that I need to cut with, or I need to spread with, where I'm like, this thing isn't directly going into my body.
Yeah.
It's just the vehicle to get other stuff in me. But I have a real aversion to that as well. As a kid, I would freak the fuck out when we would go somewhere, and for a restaurant, I'd go to a restaurant and my parents would be like, should we get dessert? And I'd be like, yes. And they'd be like, I don't think we really want anything. Let's not get dessert. And I would get a dessert, and then everyone at the table would be like, can I have some of that fucking dessert? Mm-hmm. And like passing it around, the sharing of it was not my concern. My concern was always that, because the expectation was that I was the only one eating this dessert, there's one fucking spoon there, and this spoon is going into other people's mouths. And I hated that. And then the dessert was ruined for me after that, because everyone's saliva has now been on this spoon. And kids in general should not be worried about that kind of thing. No. Kids should be, in fact, famously are little humans. But I really, really hated it. And so to this day, my mom is still like, Soren hates sharing desserts. And I can't be like, point of order, here's why. It's not like that I'm gluttonous or that I want the whole thing. It's that I think all of you are filthy, and I don't want to be anywhere near your little exterior bones.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay, thank you.
I did, like you, I used to be different. It wasn't Shay who changed me. I think it was just living on my own, honestly, that changed me. But when I was in college, my roommate and I had an apartment together, and plates would stay in the sink for so long, for just days, and we wouldn't say anything about them. Yeah. And then sometimes one of us would clean some of the plates and silverware and not the others. And it's because we were waging a war where it's like, I have cleaned the plate that I used, and the dirty plates that are in there are yours, and I'm not going to clean up after you. And that silent war would become a vocal war every once in a while, where days had passed and no one knew the origins of anything. We'd be like, those are your fucking plates. You were cleaning them. I need a plate right now. Clean your plate and give it to me.
Yeah. It's just like a shitty way to live, too. It says to have crusty old food sitting around. I mean, people talk about how in bathrooms, your toothbrush is in the bathroom, right? And like the amount of stuff that might be getting your toothbrush is awful. No, the amount of bacteria in a bathroom pales in comparison to the amount of bacteria in a kitchen. There's so much more around food and germs around food. Yeah. That's where the magic happens as far as sickness is concerned. So I'm with you. I don't like it. I don't like it anymore. I think that for a long time it didn't bother me, and now it's like I cannot hang to have dirty dishes just hanging out. I have one more question for you regarding this.
Okay.
How do you determine, three items here. How do you determine whether you use something, whether you need to wash it with soap, whether you just need to give it a rinse, or whether you just put it right back in the drawer? Did you ever do that?
Put it right back in the drawer?
Uh-huh.
If I've cut bread, that knife gets a wipe with my hand and then goes right back in the drawer.
Yeah, my hand is the sponge at that point. I agree. Things that are like a dry material, and I use some, and I'm like cutting into it, and it's only ever touched dry things, that thing is still clean. That thing just has some crumbs on it that need to be shaken off. Yeah. And that's it.
Okay. To your other questions, I mean, there are some things that get soap. There are some things that get Bartender's Friend, which is another cleaning product, because they can't go in the dishwasher. Some things get rinsed if there's like some sediment on there that's going to come off with a rinse, and some like melted cheese or melted anything will get like a little scrub off before getting into the dishwasher. And I gotta say, this is newish behavior. The idea of cleaning something before it goes into the dishwasher
is new to you.
Is maybe a 2-year-old development.
Okay.
In my life. I'm going to be 40 in 3 months. I had long held ideas that once a dish goes into the dishwasher, some magic process happens, and then it should be clean. And if I put a dish that like had a chicken bone on it, and I put it in the dishwasher, and the chicken bone was still on it when it came out, why, that's a broken dishwasher, friend. Yeah. I gotta call someone about that. This isn't a user issue.
The betrayal of seeing a dish come out of the dishwasher with something on it is like, well, then why are you here?
Yeah. Because once I'm cleaning the dish, it's like, well, if I'm gonna just like scrub the ketchup off it, then why don't I just rip the dishwasher out and just have more space for my feet? Because this is...
You are doing nothing to contribute to this family. Yeah, I feel the same way. There are several times, though, and maybe you'll encounter this when you have children someday, but there's a lot of times where I just do a rinse. They use plates for snacks and stuff like that. And let's say that they've eaten a granola bar or like gummies or something, and I've given them a plate so they're not getting crumbs all over the place, I know that we're going to eat another snack in about half an hour. So I'll just rinse their plate off and throw it in the drying rack. But I'm not going to give it a clean. And then that is translated into my things as well. Where like there are certain things where I know what it's touched. I've been there. I was there. I was there for the moment. And so I will just give it a rinse, and then I'll be like, that's good enough. It's fine.
A bowl that has only held a couple of tortilla chips for a little bit.
That's popcorn. Hell, yeah. I found
the second cleanest a bowl can be.
I do protein shakes sometimes, and as long as I'm cleaning fast too, that also matters. How long has something sat inside of that bowl or that dish? So like I've got these little tiny, it's not like a normal size blender, but it's just like the size of a cup, and I blend up a protein shake in that, and I drink it real fast. And the blades from that I unscrew from the bottom, I just rinse those off.
Yeah.
I don't, because they just got used. They're fresh out of the blender.
And you're going to use it tomorrow.
Yeah. And then also the cup itself. Sometimes I'll put some soap in it. If I take that out, my instinct is always to sniff everything before I use it. That's my own thing. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, don't like that smell. What? Something has stayed here. Something has somehow defeated my hands cleaning system.
Yeah.
And stuck around. And so then I will clean it.
Then you call out the big guns. Then you bring in the professionals.
Bring in the soap. Yeah. I don't know why I do that too. I think it's probably because for a while we had an avocado tree, and avocado, you may know, if you leave avocado on anything for more than 45 minutes, congratulations, avocado's on there forever now.
Yeah, I got a cutting board that I cut an avocado on once.
Avocado, it becomes Kevlar. It becomes completely bulletproof and something you will never remove. And if you're the type of person who cuts your avocados and then scoops it out with a spoon, man, if you don't clean that spoon soon enough, that spoon should just be thrown away.
Yeah.
It's not making it through the dishwasher. You're getting it out the other side, and then you're going to be eating your cereal, and something's going to be on the bottom of that spoon. You're just going to your tongue will be like, hey, something's different here.
Can I ask you, and this will be a preview for the long threatened house maintenance checklist episode that we're going to do one day. How often and how do you clean your dishwasher?
Oh my God. The only cleaning of a dishwasher that I'm going to do is I will take out the bottom rack, and if there's debris at the bottom of the dishwasher, I'm scooping it out. And other than that, it's on the dishwasher to clean itself.
You have a futuristic smart dishwasher that does more than my shit one does, but you've never taken out and cleaned the filter in your dishwasher?
No.
You've never even put one of those, like, you can buy like a sanitizer, like a bottle of something that you just like put in the dishwasher and run it on high, or you do like the homegrown version of that, where you just take like a glass and put vinegar in it and put it in the top rack and use that to sanitize and disinfect the dishwasher. You've never done either of those things.
No, and here's the thing. What's going to happen now is that I'm going to go check my filter after this podcast is over, and I'm either going to feel very differently about myself or very differently about you.
I clean my dishwasher so much.
Okay, wait. In multiple different ways, it sounds like. You've got a couple different strategies.
I do like the monthly sanitizer of the bottle that you can put in there, unless I'm out of those bottles and don't feel like going to the store. Then I'll do vinegar. And I will also clean out the filter, but that's more based on vibes than like any kind of time warning.
Are you getting anything out of that filter?
When you clean it as often as I do, not really. It's not enough to be satisfying.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm excited to determine how I feel about one of us.
I can't wait.
Because I generally think like my upkeep is good, but occasionally I will discover something where I'm like, oh fuck, this got away from me. I didn't know that this was even a thing I was supposed to be doing.
I think my upkeep is probably overkill. And on next week's home maintenance episode, we'll get more into this. But the upkeep, I do so much stuff, and sometimes I will feel bad if I skip something skip something 1 month, or like do something every 6 weeks instead of every month. And then I try to remind myself, in the 20 years that I lived in my childhood home, my parents didn't do any of the things that I'm doing. Any of my monthly maintenance checklist, I don't think my parents had done once in my entire life. And I'm beating myself up because I only change the filter every 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it is. I lived a very different life as a child. I was allowed to get away with a lot more, and I think that our whole family just did. I remember there being dog hair everywhere all the time, and then also I had acne when I was in high school, and realizing as an adult that was probably the fault of that I would have pillowcases that would be there for an entire season without being washed.
Right.
Like I'd have my sheets would go months without washing, and didn't realize until I was an adult that like, oh no, it's a pretty good idea to clean your sheets maybe every other week.
Right. It's so tough because we have access to so much more information now, and we also have access to so many more lunatics now that it's really unclear which generation has it better. Because I can talk to my parents and be like, how often did you clean the filters on your washing machine? And they're like, we didn't do that. And our washing machine was fine. And I was like, yeah, but like I also feel like it kind of broke all the time, and you're always like working on it. We have more information now, but the more information I have is like a fucking freak on Reddit made a checklist, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And I have no idea if this guy even has a home, or if this is just a 14-year-old with a spreadsheet who is just like, this is what I think houses should do.
Yeah, the source is tough. It was really nice to have a beacon in the storm with parents who you like trusted on some stuff, and other things where you were like, I didn't really like how we grew up, so I think I'm going to go an opposite direction with this. But I agree with you that there's, at the minute I need help with anything, I go to the internet and I go to like try and see different ways to do it, and I'm going to get a scatter plot because I know that the first one I'm finding It's going to be a weird one.
Yeah.
They're choosing to do something weird. They're weirdos. So I need corroboration that this is the right way.
Yeah. I'm really itching to try the internet.
You should try the internet. You should.
Yeah, I can't wait.
better
I'm
time.
not allowed. The internet feeds me this life hack every once in a while where someone's got a bad wasp or hornet's nest on the outside of their house, and they take their clear bowl with gasoline that this person just has, and they put it underneath the nest, and then they watch all of the wasps asphyxiate and die and fall into the bowl of gasoline, and then once all the bugs in the hive are dead, they scrape the nest out, and that's the way that they remove it. And
Oh my God.
it looks insane. It's also it's always some like formless voice that is like, "Hello, I'm Bud. You got wasps. People have been asking me how I take care of wasps, and so
Bud? Who
here
asked
we
that?
here we have a wasp nest in my porch." And it's like, so what's the timeline in here? Was the wasp nest already there and people asked you about it, or like how could this have happened?
Right.
That people needed wasps removed, and you happen to have a huge fucking wasp nest, and then you just have this like a piece of Tupperware that's like sawed off, full of gasoline that you got from somewhere on your property, and it seems to work, but there's always more questions than answers. But I don't know, if I get a hornet's nest or a wasp nest, I'm gonna want to try it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to try.
I did
gasoline.
I did the exact same thing where right over the eaves over our front door, I had a wasp nest. I think I talked about it on the podcast and how I got rid of it. I went online and I was like, how do I do it? And they're like, you gotta wait till the dead of night. And then you're gonna need a trash bag, and then you need to clip. Yeah. So there was a whole thing about how to do it. I did it, and it got into a pretty panic situation where I ended up losing the scissors inside the trash bag,
right,
along with the nest, and then put the whole thing in my freezer because I wanted my scissors back. Yeah, it's the same thing. Everything that breaks in my house, I'm like, okay, I'm not just gonna go listen to information on how to fix this. Now I got to be like a judge of moral character and stuff to determine who's actually telling me the truth.
I know this. Okay. I know this, A, ruins the internet. B, could be weaponized to hurt vulnerable people. C, makes me look bad and judgmental. And yet, despite all those things, I think I need to see what everyone looks like. Everyone who posts something on the internet, I need to see what you look like, how you dress, where you live, what you're doing. Because if some link comes up and is like, are you looking to take care of wasps? Well, you need to put this thing of gasoline under the wasp nest. It sounds very authoritative to me. But if I click through and be like, oh, it's fucking Corey's dad? Okay, we don't listen to Corey's dad about anything. Corey's dad's not allowed to see Corey's mom. So we're not going to trust him on wasps.
Yeah, I want to see a portrait of you in your living room. Yeah, it's just having that would really help me determine whether your advice is sound. I'm already thinking of people in my life that I'm like, and I just known that. I don't know we would have been friends. I just seen the way they lived. I don't know that we would have really hung out. But yeah, I think that would be weaponized and terrible for everyone except me, I would like it.
Yeah, I would make that my power, and I won't. I swear to God, I won't abuse it. It's just for very specific, like lawn and home care stuff.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, that's gonna do it for us. Somebody make that happen on the internet, but make a good version, not a mean version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dox everyone on the internet. Give it to me and Soren.
But only us. That's how it's useful.
Yeah.
Let us be the arbiters of that power. Yeah, this is quick question. If you liked our theme song, that's by me, Rex. If you want to see more of this podcast, you can see us visually on YouTube, or you can listen to more of this on our Patreon, where we do shorter episodes and exclusive ones, things you wouldn't ordinarily hear from us. And if you like this podcast in general, that's because of Gabe Harder. He's our sound engineer, editor, chief producer, the glue to the podcast. And I think I covered everything. Goodbye.
Bye.
I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it ever? Where did all go? Why do we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Billy, Daniel O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.